All right. All right, we're back. I'm sorry. That was annoying. Are we on now? I got everything just so I totally just messed everything up this morning. Very upset with myself, that's for sure. Are we back on? Is everything live right now? I sincerely apologize. Yep, okay, we're back. Thank you. What a disaster it was, right? I meant to exit out of my current widget that I was in, and I accidentally just exited out of all Streamlabs. So, we are back. We got the camera working. So, let's get after it here. I'm going to also connect to my other account on Quan Tower. It's hot in here. Gotta take the hood off. But this kind of looks like a delicious short forming right here. We're kind of rejecting yesterday's initial balance low. Today is FOMC. We're excited for FOMC. It's going to be a wild day, right? So with FOMC today, it's very important. 75 basis points is the current projected rate hike, right? If we get exactly 75 basis points, then we're okay. We're okay. Like, you know, the market will do whatever if we get 75 basis points. Probably dump, then rip, then dump again. I don't really know. Like I said, if we get exactly the projected move, I'm just going to have to wait and see how the big guys take it, right? And then I'll play accordingly. If we get 50 basis point hike instead of 75, you can expect that we're going to absolutely send it to the moon today. But I will say, I do not expect any sort of rippage at FOMC. And this is not financial advice. This is just my opinion. They do not want the market to rip right now. Market ripping is bad for, you know, what they're trying to do here. So if anything, it's scary because they could introduce a 100 basis point rate hike. And if that happens, we will see the yearly low today. I will bet money on it that we see the yearly low today with a 100 basis point hike. Let me add in my other charts here so we can look at it. I mean, I know it's far down there. Maybe not all the way at the yearly low, but you can expect, yeah, probably not all the way yearly low. We're a little further than I anticipated, but you can expect a massive, massive red candle if we get 100 basis point rate hike. It's going to be terrible. Or it's going to be fun if we get short, right? I have a specific funded account specifically for news events like today, so I will be playing in that account, and I will not be risking my personal or my other funded accounts. So that's how we will be rolling. But yeah, yesterday, as far as yesterday goes, yesterday was pretty gross. We got PMI yesterday. Let's zoom in here. We had PMI yesterday and pretty much just flushed pretty hard right after PMI. And then we were just stuck in a pretty gross, disgusting range for the rest of the day. Let's make our 1 minute chart big and we'll go over here. So Here we are. Yeah, so yesterday we flushed right off PMI, 30 minutes into open. We had 15 minutes open, then we had PMI there. We had other release here. Do I strictly trade ES or do I ever trade NQ2? So I will trade NQ when the market's really slow, right? Like pre-COVID, right? Pre-COVID, I traded NQ exclusively because ES only moved like 10 points a day, right? But ever since COVID happened, and really, really strongly about a year ago, I moved to ES, strictly just ES and no longer NQ. And I've been doing a lot better P&L wise. So for all of 2021, I did my statistics. I kept statistics of every single trade I took all of 2021, date, time, how much it went against me, how much I made, all sorts of things. Like everything about the trade, I kept a statistic on. And then I went through and looked at all my 2021 statistics, and I was like, wow, if I were specifically to just trade ES and take X amount of points with X amount of stop, my P&L would be significantly larger than it was at the end of 2021. So now I've implemented that into my trading now. And yeah, I've just been incredibly more successful just doing that. I highly recommend anyone, keep your statistics on your trades and review them, because that was a major game changer for me, honestly. Just for the way I trade, at least. I noticed that most of my wins came from either the 30-minute or the 1 hour rotation. And the 1 hour rotation, that's initial balance, right? So I noticed that most of my wins came from those two time frames. So it's like, okay, well, let's just trade those two time frames. And then most of my wins never went more than 5 points against me. So it's like, all right, my stop will be 5 points. And I noticed that had I just taken 5 points on all of my winners, I would have never had like as many break evens, or I certainly had some that went much farther than 5 points, right? But I had a lot that went like 8 points and then came back, right? So if I had just taken the 5 points, I would have been a lot better off. So I was like, all right, let's leverage up and let's just run with that profit and stop loss. With the percentage that I won too, my win percentage with that would have been really high. And that's what I'm doing now, and I'm doing great. So, I mean, and occasionally I'll have one that I've gotten to the point now, like, I'll long and I'll set a break even at like 5 points sometimes. Or if I play with two contracts, I'll take one at 5 points and let the other run all day. But yeah, for the most part, just trading ES has been very, very profitable for me. So I have stuck to just that for now. If the market ever slows down to pre-market or pre-COVID levels again, I will 100% start trading NQ again more consistently. But with the volatility of NQ, it's just very difficult to get a very tight stop and be as consistent, in my opinion, for me, right? So back to what happened yesterday. We sold off pretty hard. Here's the PMI release right here. We had a little bit of news at 15 minutes. Then we had PMI right at 30 minutes. We dumped. And then we post our initial balance low. We break below it. And the only trade I got yesterday is I longed right here at this power trade level. This was at 38.54. We had a level at 38.54 as well. The 50% extension was at like 42, but we had a level here at 50. We had a power trade there as well. I took a long just because I was watching Delta and Footprint. Everything looked good at the bottom, was worth a stab. I got my 5 points. And then it ended up just grinding initial balance low all day. And I hate days that grind initial balance low or high, right? This blue line is initial balance low. This is the low of the first hour of the trading session. Good morning, Mr. Decoy. Glad to see you. I'm glad you're alive. How are the kids? But I hate when we just grind this level, right? I want a nice clean rejection. If we don't get a nice clean rejection or support, generally I just sit out for the rest of the day, because that's counting indecision, right? If we're grinding, if we can't decide whether we want to stay in the initial balance or trend below it, that's indecision. And my logic kind of is, why would I be able to guess the market if the market can't guess the market, right? It doesn't know what it wants to do. So I just fucked off and went golfing. I was like, all right, we're grinding this. I got my trade in that I wanted. I'm green on all accounts. Let's go. Let's peace out. So I ended up peacing out, and then I also had a pretty bad phone call last night as well. So my brother had actually broken his femur and his wrist. So he was life flighted to the ER in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and so I was dealing with that all yesterday as well. So yeah, pretty wild day yesterday, and then we had an issue out in the field this morning, so I've been up for like 2 hours already. Dirt bike accident. Yeah, he was training for Supercross at a training facility there in Stillwater, Oklahoma, and he was going through a rhythm section, basically a jump section. For those of you that don't know, he was going through a jump section, and the bike false neutraled, which means, like, you know, like you're in like third gear or whatever, and all of a sudden the bike just flicks itself into neutral, right? Whether it's a transmission issue or his foot accidentally caught the shifter. We don't know, but yeah, false neutraled off a jump, and when he landed, the bike landed on him and it broke his femur. He broke his wrist. It was pretty nasty. So he has surgery here in about 2 hours. They're gonna do surgery and put a rod in his femur, and then they really haven't focused too much on his wrist yet. They were really worried about getting that femur back together, you know, because that's a pretty nasty one. Yeah, he's good though. Outside of the femur and the wrist, he's good though. I don't think he hit his head too hard. They said he was, he was in a lot of pain, but they said he was, aware in everything the whole time. So, and they did a CAT scan, made sure internals and everything were good as well. So it's a real bummer. He was riding really well. He was planning on doing the Supercross series professionally coming in January. So that's for sure not going to happen now. So depending on how his recovery process goes, he should be okay to be ready for the outdoor motocross series, which starts in like June, I think, is when the outdoor motocross series starts. So depending on how the recovery goes, he can still do that, but Supercross is probably out of the question, which is a bummer. He's been working really hard for that. I'm bummed for him. He's been riding really, really well, and this was kind of this was going to be a big deal. So maybe next year, if outdoor motocross goes well, he can try Supercross again, but definitely a bummer. And then, yeah, as far as trading goes, I would say we might be range locked until FOMC. We'll see what the open brings. I do believe we have a bunch of... you got a triple bottom, Mr. Decoy? Do we have a triple bottom? We got a double bottom there. Is it perfect? It is perfect. Oh my gosh, Mr. Decoy, what a find. I do also want a short. I kind of wanted the IBL short, but then we busted above it, so I'm not really sure where I want the short. You know, we haven't really respected VWAP too much. Now we got a double top. You know, if we get something really, really sexy, I might look at it. Let's go ahead and pull up news. Wait, did that bust? That did not bust. Okay. Let's go ahead and pull up news. 15 minutes after open, we have employment report. I don't think it's going to be very much. Rental vacancy rate at 10 a.m. And then at 2 p.m., FOMC announcement. And then 30 minutes after the FOMC announcement, we have the press conference with Daddy J-Pow. Now, let me tell you something about FOMC. Normally, the first move is always the correct move, right? Whatever first flashes is usually the first thing, unless Daddy J-Pow says something incredibly wild during the speech, right? Like it'll be like really good, and then he'll say like inflation is transitory or something wild like that. Tanks the market, right? Everything could be going really good. They could have a really great release, and then he'll say something in the speech. So you have to be careful for the speech. Generally, you want to wait till after the speech if you're wanting to play something. I tend to watch that first move, and then maybe I'll catch a continuation, or maybe I'll catch a reversal, right? You have to be very patient and be very light if you are going to be playing FOMC, because you could totally F yourself bad, right? You could destroy an account if you go in there with no stops and too much leverage, and things go bad instantly, right? So I urge the utmost caution. Don't even trade it. If this is your first FOMC, or you don't really know what you're doing, I would urge you to not even trade FOMC. Wait till after the speech is done, then maybe catch some of the fun stuff that's going to be happening. There is going to be 1,000 setups, right, after the speech. And it'll be a lot less volatile. I mean, it'll still be volatile, right? There's going to be 1,000 setups, but you can wait till after the speech and catch all your trades there and let that first like hour, right? There's going to be the release, and then there's going to be the speech, and it's going to be really volatile during those times. And then after the speech, it's still volatile, but it calms down enough to where you can actually like trade it legit and not be just YOLOing yourself. So, did I see the Twitter post you shared yesterday? Last 4 FOMC had a dump right at 2 p.m. Eastern and then pump at 2:30 when Powell started talking. Yes, and that's also what I was talking about, that correlation, right? We dump right at it, and then it recovers a little bit while Powell's talking. And then whatever he says kind of influences the next move, right? So if he says something bad during the speech, we'll continue down. If he says something super good during the speech, we'll rip. But I generally like to trust the first move. It really depends what's in there as well. I'm also short. Got a nice tight stop too. 2-point stop. Right above the recent high. If I get stopped, I get stopped. It's all right. Oops, I took that in the wrong account. I gotta flatten that real quick. I took that in the wrong account. Let me take that in the correct account. I have a lot of accounts. They switched them all up on me, right? Do I still want this short? I think I do still want this short. Let's look at Delta's pretty high. I think I might wait. Now, do I have my... I don't think my copy trader is on this account. Let me make sure it's not. Okay, so copy trader is not on this account. So that's okay. I'll just take it in one account. Delta coming. Yeah, Delta kind of bumping a little bit. I still like the short. I think we might wick VWAP pretty good. I'm not sure yet. I think I'm going to chill on this one just for now. I took a 1 point loss on my other account, which is slightly disappointing, but also I didn't want to trade that account. So we will chill. That was on the Bull and Ox account that I've already passed. Now we left an unfinished auction at the top. Not taking it. If they dump from here, I will be like slightly upset. They need to go a little bit higher. I am definitely interested in the short though. I just hope they don't rip it without me, because then I will cry. Also, where in the Heckleberry Finn did all my drawings go? They're all gone. Are they hidden? No, they're not. Where did they all go? They're all gone. On all my charts, all my levs. I mean, those are still there. My trend lines are there on the daily. But where the heck? Slightly disappointing. I have literally no idea where they went. I didn't delete them. Obviously. Trend lines are still there. That's weird. That's weird. News in 10 minutes. Is there news in 10 minutes? What's Oh, I forget. You're the wrong time zone. ADP employment level change. I don't know how big that one's gonna be. Let's go to the juice. It's a little bit of a stuff. Crude oil inventories today at 9:30. And then, yeah, FOMC this afternoon. Biden speaks. Damn it, Biden. Every time he speaks, he just ruins my account. Oh, they are dumping. I hope you're in profit, Mr. Decoy. I didn't take it. We had an unfinished auction at the top. That's usually a sign for me to not take it. I need that to be white, like, so let's zoom in on the footprint chart right here. So the left is buyers, right is sellers. I need there to be 0 buyers at the top, right? There's still buyers at the top at VWAP, so that makes me feel like, oh, hey, they're still wanting to buy above this. So maybe we go a bit higher. We did not get the finished auction like I wanted, so I did not take a trade. And now, and that doesn't, like I said, it's not a 100% strat, right? It can dump without there being a finished auction. I just like there to be one. It gives me more confidence in a trade. But obviously, sometimes it goes without it. I'm not concerned. Good morning, Mr. Viper. It's been a while. How's it going? How's class? Mr. Viper is a resident doctor in Portugal. He's smarter than all of us. Don't know why he's trying to day trade. He's out there gonna be making the big bucks, saving lives. It was finished you entered, then went up and gave you an unfinished auction. Well, and that's the thing with grinding. We're still grinding yesterday's initial balance low, right? We're just going up and above it, disrespecting it. I feel like it could be choppy, but it looks like it's starting to really flush now. I mean, granted, it's only flushed, what, 3 points? But still, Delta's coming in a little red. Right there at overnight POC. POC is right there at 38.68. Stop is at break even. We're all hoping for you, Mr. Decoy. I hope this works out for you. We are right at POC, so that gets a little scary. A lot of volume there, right? I don't want to know how much doctors make in Portugal. You are right. It's either really good or really bad. But also, you know, the way you talk, it sounds like things are pretty cheap in Portugal. Doctors here make stupid amount of money. Depending on, like, what kind of doctor you are, right? My mom works at a hospital, so I have all the inside knowledge on these doctors and what they are. My only problem is I extremely hated biology. Really thought about becoming an anesthesiologist. I feel like that would be the vibes, but here I am not doing that. Instead, I went to work in the oil field. And I'm a petroleum engineer, which also, we're doing all right. I have a house and dirt bikes. Yeah, here you make a lot if you work in the private sector. I mean, honestly, both. In the US, you work in both. Instead, making banks. It's accurate. So yeah, back to FOMC. I really think today probably might be range bound until FOMC. We'll see what the open brings. I imagine it'll have some stuff going on for like the first 30 minutes, maybe get some good movement, and then right after that first 30 minutes, it might just go range bound and be really gross. But what we're watching for is basically just the basis point hike, right? What is it going to be? 75 points, 100 points, or 50 points? Those are our three options. From everything I've read, all the interviews, everyone's analysis, everyone seems pretty bearish on it, right? Everyone's saying pump is bad. We don't want the market to rip. That's going to counter what we've been working for. And also so I went back and read J Powell's last FOMC, right? You go back, watch the interview and read the report and everything. They don't want pump yet. They need pain. They need the market to be down to a point to where they can slowly increase it, right? The market just keeps trying to recover violently. And they don't want that. They're wanting to like mediate it, right? So, like I said, I'll be watching for them to either do a 75 basis point rate hike and just keep things consistent. And that one's going to be a crapshoot, right? Do they take that as, okay, they're sticking to the plan, we have confidence, we know what's going to happen? Or do they take that as, okay, we're still rate hiking really hard, we're going to dump, right? It's just a matter of how the market interprets it. I can't predict for sure. I will watch that first move and then play accordingly. I'm assuming a lot of people are playing to the short side. Like I said, I have my YOLO news account ready to go, so I may or may not play with that one a little bit. That's the account I will be trading, right? How was the last CPI? It was a big red candle. Yeah, it was a big red candle. Were you there that day? I traded CPI. That's the day we got 4K on stream. I got short right before CPI hit with a mini. And we got pretty pated that day. That was a great day. I will never forget that CPI. That was like the most I've ever made in one trade, because like my Quan Tower froze, right? So I couldn't even take profit. I got short with a stop loss and no take profit, and it just dumped. And I was like, okay, this is great. I actually had to go to the website and flatten all accounts from the website because I couldn't do anything on my Quan Tower. It was just moving so fast, it froze up. Good morning, Mr. Griffin. Griffin Jaeger, GOAT. I love that last name so much. It's such a cool last name. I also dig your new I dig your new profile pic. That thing is sick. But I will be yeah, I'll be playing FOMC a little bit. But like I said, I have a whole other funded account for FOMC and news events specifically. Right? Hello. You know, I have a pretty decent stop loss on it, but then like no take profit, so I'm able to catch like pretty wild swings. And if it fails, it fails, right? Oh, there's our news release. Must have been pretty bad. Let's pull up financial juice. I'll put it right here. Oh, here we go. Actual 239, forecast 185. Previous 208. So wow, pretty wild variance from expectations. Oh, thank you, Mr. Viper. That means a lot. Oh, Decoy, you were short and you took profit, didn't you? Oh no. You closed for 3 points. You could have gotten 10. Easy. You could have paid for the child's tuition right there. But no. Instead, you're going to be poor. And that's okay. We'll all be poor together. Because I wasn't even short. I was sitting here talking about the short and I didn't even take it. Wow, that is really, really starting to dump. That is really taking off. And we bounced right at that yesterday, that 55 level from yesterday. Still respecting the range, so we will be watching that. That range is pretty strong. Break below the range and maybe we get a continuation to the downside. You are right, Mr. Decoy. It is the smart thing to do as a trader. Like, when you know you're in profit, you have a news event coming up, you don't know what the news is going to do. It becomes a 50-50 shot, right? And it's like, hey, we're at my target, right? Your target's, at least from what I know, your target's always been 3 points, right? Take those 3 points, get your target, and then sit flat for those. Unless you have, like I said, a separate news account, get your bills paid. And you did, so we're proud of you. You did the right thing, right? Hindsight, it's like, oh yeah, I could have had like 4 times that. But you got your daily goal and you can chill now, right? Like, you executed your plan perfectly and it all went very smooth. So we can't be upset with that, right? You're never gonna catch the whole thing. Granted, this whole thing would have been like really nice to catch, but you're never gonna catch the whole thing. Catch what you can take out of the market and get out. At least that's my theory too, because like I only ever scalp for like 5 points. Yes, right? I'll look for a 100-point move and I'll take my 5 points out of it because statistically it's going to be a lot higher of a chance to get my 5 points. Jaeger says his girlfriend's family is all medical and it certainly pays off. Oh, I don't doubt it. You're chilling. Do you get to be a house husband? Because that would be nice. Exactly. You made $150 in 4 minutes, Mr. Decoy. What is there to be mad about? That's exactly right. We make money literally clicking buttons. And I tell you what, this so Quan Tower has this copy trader thing. I can't show you how to use it because it literally shows my account number and all of my information when I hit the plus sign. But Quan Tower has this copy trader, and what it does is you can put one of your, like, whatever. So let's say you have like 4 funded accounts through Bullinox, right? Which is what I'm working on right now. 4 funded accounts through Bullinox. You can have one account be your parent account, right? So Bullinox 01, let's say that's your parent account. You execute your trades on that parent account, and you can set those other 3 accounts to do exactly the same thing you ever do in that first account, right? So if I took a long, so let's pretend this is the parent, like I take a long in Bullinox 01 with a stop loss of 5 points and a take profit of 5 points. All those other 3 accounts, as soon as I click buy, they will also buy at the same price with the same stop loss and take profit. So I could sit there and wait for 1 trade a day, right? And I get 250 bucks on my 1 trade, but that was multiplied across 3 other accounts, right? So technically that's 1,000, right? 4 times the amount, while also having minimum risk, right? You made 1,000 while only risking 250 in each account. So that's kind of cool, really. That funded accounts and Quantire like allows you to do that. And I know all the other like trading platforms, like they all have that too. I think Tradeovate has it. Ninja has it, but you have to pay for it. $450 a day is oh yeah. No, $700 a month is minimum wage in Portugal. That's crazy. Mr. Viper asks, what is Bullinox? That's new to me. Bullinox is a trading a prop firm. It's like Apex or Top Step or UProfit. It's just the one that I've grown fond of recently. It's basically the exact same as Apex. The only difference is the payout is so much better than Apex. You get paid out bi-weekly instead of monthly, and then after your first 4 payouts, you get to withdraw literally infinite amount of money from however much, like if however much you have above 50K, you can withdraw all of that. So so basically within, you know, your first 2 months, you're making bougie, right? And they have great deals all the time. They match, like anytime Apex does a deal, they'll match the deal. So, and the one thing I really like is they don't have like a monthly sub after you're funded, right? Apex makes you pay the $80 a month for the data, whereas Bullinox, once you get funded, you pay like a one-time fee and then you don't have to pay again, which is pretty lit. So for me, you know, I had been doing Apex, but at that point, there's not really a point. Why would I do Apex when Bullinox is the same thing but better withdrawal rules and better monthly thing? Yeah, we just found it like a month ago. So I got one account funded and I'm working on my other ones. And every time I get a funded Bullinox account, I will end a Apex account because I have a couple Apex accounts and I'm working on these Bullinox accounts, and then I'll get them all transferred over. Like I said, when they pay out twice as much or twice as often, and not having the monthly sub. The monthly sub is the really big one. Not having to deal with that is really nice, especially if you want to have multiple accounts, right? Like I'm working my way up. Eventually, I will have 10 funded accounts with Bullinox doing the copy trader, and I will just wait for my 1 trade a day. And when you take a 5-point ES trade multiplied across 10 accounts, that's $2,500, and each account only risked $250. It's pretty lit. Yeah, Mr. Cass says might not be at the desk until this evening today. Last 2 days have been boring enough. Honestly, I feel that. I probably won't take any trades until FOMC. The mornings are usually pretty gross FOMC day because it'll just range because everyone's just waiting for the FOMC to come out. So yeah, I feel like a lot of people will probably just wait until the news release. Probably what I'll do as well. Oh, Mr. Jaeger, girlfriend is the one who's broke the trend. So you're the breadwinner. Unfortunately, that is sad. Yesterday should have killed trades and got wrecked. Tighter stop loss said yesterday was tough. Like I said, if we grind, it was really choppy and wicky and gross. Right? Yesterday was just not a great day. I'm really glad I caught that long kind of at the low, and then I just chilled out from there. Yeah, it was definitely gross. I'm glad I sat out, because if I would have just sat there and traded, I probably would have just chopped myself up as well. So I was able to find some things and get my mind off of it and step away. And that's the nice thing, like, right? Like, if you're up in profit, sometimes it's nice to find a way to disconnect from the market and get out and go do anything else, right? And I like to go golf or go walk around or just do something else, right? Especially if the daily goal is reached. Unless, you see something really sexy or a really good setup comes around. Like, if we're really trendy, I might stick around, because those trendy days I generally provide some pretty good setups. But yeah, yesterday it just got gross. It started off really good and I thought it was gonna get spicy, and then it just got gross. Mr. Decoy says, wondering how the trade copier works across more accounts. Like, you only had a tick or so of slippage across the 3, right? What about 10? That's a good question, Mr. Decoy. I would assume it's probably pretty even. I mean, I would assume the order goes out to all the accounts like at the same time. But yeah, there is like that quarter of a second of slippage that you get, right? When you press the button and then it sends that order to the other ones. It's about a tick of difference. So if it's really volatile, maybe don't use the trade copier, or expect a little bit more slippage on the trade copier. But like yesterday when I took my trade, it was moderate, right? I took it right at that bottom at that power trade. I took it right in here. So I mean, it was kind of chopping around, but I mean, it's very close, right? And generally these levels, I expect, like, I have a 5-point stop for a reason. And that's the other thing, yeah. If you're trading NQ, you might have a lot of slippage with the trade copier. You might have like a lot of slippage. So I have no testing on that. I would recommend you guys do your own testing, do it with some sim accounts maybe, or do it at a very confident level. But for ES, usually it's not really like a big problem. Also, like, it works for limit orders as well, right? Let's say you want to put a limit at initial balance low. It'll put a limit order there for all of your accounts. It'll copy whatever you do. Like, let's say I'm long and I move my take profit. It'll also move the take profit in all the other accounts. Same thing, if I flatten one account, it'll flatten all of the accounts. From what I've noticed so far, right? I've only used the trade copier probably 3 times now, on 3 trades. I just started setting it up like a day or 2 ago, and I've only had 3 trades on it since then. But like I said, every trade so far has gone within a tick and gone swimmingly. So I enjoy it so far. So yeah, hopefully today is vibing. I'm gonna wait probably till Fomc gets released. I imagine it'll be pretty gross. I might watch for the first hour or so, maybe get a 30-minute or 1-hour rotation. That 1-hour rotation is, the IB post, obviously. But it'll probably get pretty gross. Generally it'll range and chop around until Daddy J-Pow comes out and starts talking. So I hope you all stay patient. I'm gonna go ahead and shut this thing down for the day and switch offices. I may be on the phone like all morning too. I might not trade. So might not get a trade till FOMC. Anyways, but I hope all of you have a great day. Stay patient, stay safe, have a stop in place today. And then, yeah, I hope to see you all tomorrow. I hope everyone makes a bag, and yeah, everyone come back tomorrow and tell me how your day went. We'll go through it. We'll discuss all of what happened today, tomorrow, and go through kind of what our forecast is, right? There's going to be a big candle. Either way, do we hit the top of the trend line or do we hit the bottom? We're gonna see something wild. So I'm excited for what today brings, and yeah, we'll see you guys tomorrow.
This shit always happen to me. Why can't we just play for keeps?